believe this is my 15th year in Lake Placid, and it's always a huge highlight on our schedule. I always say it's the 2 best weeks of the summer. I'm a big fan of paddleboarding around Mirror Lake, so I made sure that I got some time in doing that on Monday. I love to go to the Mirror Lake Inn and Spa for a massage. I love to frequent all the great restaurants, and definitely a trip up to the top of Whiteface is a must for anyone who comes to visit. And I guess I can't leave out the bobsled run. I mean, we've done a lot of hiking. My boyfriend's big into hiking. I love to go for a boat ride around Lake Placid and just check out all the really cool houses and the matching boat houses. And the highlight of both of my weeks was showing Lafitte here in the green 3-foot 6-inch division. Lafitte did 11 classes over the past 2 weeks, and he won all 11. So he was undefeated, champion both weeks in the green 3-foot 6, and Grand Hunter champion both weeks. And Lafitte is a 7-year-old gelding. He's owned by Cheryl Olston from New Hope, Pennsylvania. And we just imported Lafitte from Germany this past November. So he's just getting started here in America with his hunter career. And we have big hopes and dreams for starting to do derbies and eventually getting to derby finals. I love this show. I think that the footing is a major highlight for us, and just the quality of the jumps and the courses. And certainly if you have anything that you can show out on the grass Grand Prix field, that's always a thrill. But I just think this show just goes above and beyond to make the exhibitors happy. They give great prizes. They make sure all the presentations feel really special. I love to watch the doggy costume class, and I love that there's classes here for all ages and all levels. So there's a lot of kids that I've watched grow up at the Lake Placid Horse Show, like Jimmy Toronto's children. I remember watching those 2 kids do lead line, and now they're doing children's ponies and small ponies. So it's just a great family place, and the same families and exhibitors tend to come back year after year. As far as challenges, I mean, I feel pretty good about it. He's ready to do this class. He's just getting started, so I will probably jump more of the low options than the high options, just while he gets his feet wet doing derbies, but we're excited and looking forward to it. I think that he's extremely talented, which is a big part of having a good hunter, but what makes him different for me than the other hunters is he always feels like he's trying to win out there as much as I am. He has some sort of star quality that when he walks in the ring, he seems to understand that he's there to perform. So I think that makes him really unique. He has a best friend. His best friend is, well, he has a people best friend and a horse best friend. His people best friend is Nicole, that takes him to the ring every day. His horse best friend is MTM Self-Made, who's also his neighbor here. He's new to the hunter ring, just got imported this November, and is just starting to do derbies. So his first round was fantastic. He had scores of 87 and 89, and I did 1 high option. He's a greener horse and just starting the derby process, so we will start adding in those higher options as we get a little more experience, but for now that's where we started. But even just doing 1 high option, he ended up winning the first round, which was fantastic. The next horse I did was Snowden, who's owned by Christina Claffey. He's an amateur owner hunter that I've never ridden before, but we thought it would be good for him to get some derby experience. He went around and had a really nice, consistent round and was just out of the top 12. And then the last horse I did is Maitre D, owned by Wendy Solomon. He's a horse that I was 3rd at Derby finals on last year, and he was great. He was 9th in the first round, jumped all the high options, and then moved up to 6th overall after the handy round. Lafitte Demuse had another beautiful round in the handy with base scores of 88 and 90, the highest base scores of the handy, and ended up in 2nd place. I again only jumped the 1 high option. So we're going to save all those big jumps for the future when we have a little bit more experience under our belt. Lafitte Demuse is owned by Cheryl Olston, and Cheryl is donating all of his net prize money earnings to the Equine Foundation. I actually thought it was quite a challenging course. It was an interesting course, but the option jumps, so it was number 2 in the first round and number 9 in the first round. It almost looked like a pinwheel with 4 jumps all connected, and I thought that was difficult for the horses off that short turn, tall jumps, and there was a lot of distractions and a lot of places for them to lose their focus. But I think in general the horses handled it really well. I thought in the handy, the trot jump was difficult. Going from that in and out on the side, the horses land with a bit of impulsion, and it wasn't a lot of strides to get them to shorten back up and take their time with the trot jump. So I was quite proud of my horse, who's a little on the greener side, for handling that part so well. It was interesting. Some of the more experienced horses, like horses that I expected to do really well in this class, had trouble in the first round and had 4 faults and had some rails down. I think maybe for some of the super experienced horses that have been to Derby finals and been places where the rings are really big and the jumps are really full and you can go off a little bit more of a gallop, they had a little more challenging time in this smaller ring where everything was coming up really fast and you had to work off a slower rhythm. But then once you got to the handy, I would definitely say in the handy, the horses that rose to the top are the experienced horses, the horses that have been doing this for quite some time, that are used to jumping the 4-foot options, that have practiced the handies a lot. Except for Lafitte Demuse was right in there, and he was probably the least experienced horse in the class.